Okay, so what am I supposed to do here now? So,
Are we still on echo chamber? Oh,
You sound fine.
yeah, must be fixed.
so are we ready now?
We were enjoying not listening to the echo chamber over here.
Oh my.
Yes, I did.
Trying to log on separately should just watch from the screen and use the speakerphones like we did last time.
Okay, sure.
So should I shut this?
Well, Mike's was picking up pretty good. Are you still
Yeah, mine's fine.
Oh, I just shut it down. I put you on me to shut it down.
So should I shut this down?
Yeah, I think when we have too many devices in proximity, it just causes problems. But it's fine at plan commission just calling in from here. It just picks up everybody's.
Sounds good.
Welcome to Zoom. Enter your meeting ID followed.
I think if you were in your office, Mayor, and if you were in your office, Mike,
Enter your participant ID followed by pound. You are in the meeting now. There are 19 participants in the meeting.
Well, Madison is doing their meeting by Zoom too. I just can't imagine that they've got 36 people in their echo chamber.
Well, that'd be horrible.
It would be.
Can you guys hear me now?
Yep.
Yes.
All right, I think we're okay. We just shut down the other devices that were on in the council chambers because we think that might have been causing the echoing. So we just have the speakerphone going rather than two other people also logged in separately. So I think we should be good.
Okay, so, all right. Well, we had, what I will call the meeting of Middleton Common Council for March 31st, 2020 to order. And we have some glitches. We are starting a new electronic system and we have some glitches, and that's how we are a little bit late. And this is due to the pandemic, and this meeting will be conducted remotely to most, if not all, of the elected officials. So I'm at the City Hall, and all the other people are remote. So the first item on the agenda is the roll call. So my children, how do we do it?
Can you all hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, Olson,
Yes.
Broussard,
Here.
Nelson,
Here.
June,
Did you?
Burke,
Present.
Here.
West,
Present.
Ramsey,
Here.
Sullivan,
Here.
all are present remotely.
Thank you. So the next item on the agenda is the comments from the citizen present, and Mike, you want to say anything about the election thing? I want to say a few things that coronavirus has changed our lives and of those around the globe. And our first responder, that EMS, fire, and police, they are already in serving, and we still and and our city staff is working hard to keep the essential services going. And Mike, you want to make a comment about the election will be at Cranberry School?
Yes, we've moved all 4 polling places to Cromrie, and we've gotten a lot of information out. I learned today from the city clerk's office that we have over 7,000 ballots that have been mailed now. And in 2016, we had 8,500 voting in the spring primary. So we're in a very good situation for absentee voting, and there's a possibility we'll get over 8,000 in the next couple of days.
And I got a call from governor's office if city needed any help, and they're ready to help whatever they could if we did. Anybody else who wants to speak?
Gurdeep, could you please speak directly into the microphone? It's very hard to hear you.
Okay, all right. Is that better?
That's better.
Not there.
Oh, okay.
Just try talking for just a second.
Hello, can you hear me, Susan?
Yes, I can hear you much better now.
Okay, thank you.
Let me turn that off.
Okay, so if there are there's no one else present for the comments, we are going to go to the next item. That's the approval of the consent agenda. I need a motion to approve.
Move approval.
Second.
Okay, second. Okay, so the motion has been made to approve the minutes. All those in favor of the approval of the minutes say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? So the motion passes unanimously. We are on to the old business. That's the item number 1 is the Stone Horse Green bid and award.
I'll make a motion to reject the bids and to postpone the project fundraising till 2021.
I'll second that.
Okay.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to request a point of order for moving forward with the voting. Given the fact that everybody's trying to speak at one time, I don't think that Zoom can handle all the discussion all at once. So either we could go with a roll call vote for everything, or I'd make the other recommendation that unless you hear of a nay vote, that we conclude that all of the members have voted aye.
Okay.
Larry,
So
do you have?
Yeah, that is satisfactory under the circumstances.
So which one, roll call or unless you hear nay?
No, I think that the latter suggestion is more efficient, so that we don't unduly delay things that are being approved unanimously. If there's a close division, we can always call for a roll call if it's not clear.
Okay, thank you, Mark. Thank you, Larry. So the motion has been made for Stone Horse Green bid and award to cancel it, and it has been seconded. And is there any discussion? Okay, so now all those in favor of the motions, if there's anyone opposed to the motion, say aye. So the motion passes unanimously.
So Mr. Mayor, I think you still have to ask if everyone's in approval, but that if we don't hear a nay, then we assume that it's a unanimous vote.
Yeah,
Okay.
I didn't hear any votes at all.
Okay,
If you have
all those in
votes at
favor
all,
in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
thank you.
Anyone opposed? Okay, so the motion passes unanimously. Now we are on to the agreements. agreement with Marconet for information technology managed services.
I'll move that we approve subject to final city attorney approval.
I'll second.
Okay, so the motion has been made and seconded. Any discussion? Okay, so all those in favor of the motion to approve the agreement with Marconet for information technology managed services, say aye.
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 Anyone opposed? So the motion passes unanimously. We are on to item number 2. This is the city developer agreement for Tribeca Drive extension with Tribeca Commercial Properties LLC.
I'll move approval as recommended by finance, and there's an additional motion to refer this back to water resources and stormwater so that they can include whatever water flows are heading that to the creek, the Pheasant Branch Creek, for supplemental modeling.
Okay, need a second.
For both of them.
I'll second to both of those.
Okay, so the motion has been made and seconded. These are actually 2 motions. Any discussion?
Yes, I would like to comment. This has been to Water Resources multiple times. And one of the major concerns is that any additional water going into Graber Pond is going to cause an extreme flood risk. And we have had a long time getting recovery of that area from the August 2018 flood. I think Water Resources' view was that the water needs to go as proposed south from Tribeca. What probably needs to be done is clear instruction to Cardno to put this in the modeling so that we can solve it, but not to try to transfer it back to Graber Pond.
So just so you're aware, the finance committee meeting talked about something similar to this. We were not opposed to that way that the Water Resources is proposing the water flow. What we were suggesting is that that the reconfiguration of Pheasant Branch Creek, whoever is doing the modeling, whether it's not Cardno because Cardno is using is it Arrow? Whoever that is, that Water Resources and Stormwater need to let them know that there's development going along this corridor, and that whatever water flows, stormwater flows that are coming that way need to be factored into whatever modeling that they have for the creek corridor. So we're not opposed to what they.
Yeah, I have a question. Wouldn't this be faster to simply have staff send it to the company that's doing the modeling with that instruction in it?
That could work too.
I think
to see if there's any changes. Well, my assumption was that it would have to go from Water Resources to do that. But if we can do it directly, right? If we could say to Gary, has this been through the other consultant, and let him handle it? That's sufficient. I think that substantively handles the referrals from finance.
That's fine with me if it could go direct.
So is there a friendly modification then to the motion on the table?
Yes. Guess the motion would be, if possible, to go directly to staff so they can consult with the engineers and direct them to do the modeling appropriately to encompass this water. And if that's not possible, then it would go to Water Resources.
So I'll accept that as a friendly motion. Yeah, a friendly amendment.
And I will second that friendly amendment.
Okay, any further discussion? Are you okay with that, Susan?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, if there's no further discussion, all those in favor of the motion to approve the agreement with Tribeca Drive commercial properties as amended, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? So these were two motions. So we are on to item number 3, Memorandum of Understanding for Stormwater Management of Tribeca Commercial Properties.
Move approval.
I'll second. I think we got something mixed up. I must have been a little early with my motion to refer, because that's what this belongs with, is the MOU. So
yeah, the other one was. Okay.
The motion to refer belongs to the MOU for stormwater management.
Yeah, we jumped ahead. We jumped ahead and missed the Tribeca Drive extension.
So Larry, how would you want to handle it now?
Well, the cleanest thing to do would be to, since everybody voted for it, to move to reconsider the prior motion and adopt it without the friendly amendments, and then move on to the MOU, move to approve it with the referrals that have been previously discussed.
All right, I'll move that we reconsider the city developer agreement for Tribeca extension.
Second that motion.
Okay, all those in favor of the reconsideration, say aye.
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 Anyone opposed? Okay, so now you want to make a, okay, 7-1. Okay.
Susan, were you voting with the majority?
Yes.
Oh, okay, then that's unanimous. Okay, now I need somebody to make a motion. We are doing item number 3, memorandum.
No, wait a minute.
No, not yet.
We're on number 2,
So you want to
and I'll make a motion to approve.
Okay.
A second.
Okay, so.
And that motion
Okay, we are on
should
to.
be subject to city attorney approval, I believe.
Yes.
Correct.
Okay, so we are on to item number 2, city developer agreement for Tribeca Drive extension with Tribeca Commercial Properties LLC. Need a motion to approve now.
You have a motion and a second to approve, subject to city attorney approval.
Okay. All right. All those in favor of that motion say aye.
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 Anyone opposed? Okay, so the motion passes. Now we are on to item number 3, Mark, Memorandum of Understanding for Stormwater Management of Tribeca Commercial Properties.
So my motion is to approve. And then when we're done voting this, I would have a second motion.
Okay, need a second.
Second.
Any discussion? Okay, all those in favor of approving the Memorandum of Understanding for Stormwater Management of Tribeca Commercial Properties say aye.
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 The second motion
Anyone
is to.
opposed?
I'm sorry.
No, first, anyone opposed? Okay, so this motion is unanimous. Okay, Mark, go ahead and make
The second motion is to direct city staff to involve the engineer to determine whether the addition from this development corridor will have a substantial impact on whatever modeling they've done for the Pheasant Branch rehabilitation.
Second.
Just to be clear, Mark, you mean the Tribeca development as well as the other development contemplated in the that is in the Pheasant Branch Creek drainage area, right?
That's correct.
Yes.
Okay.
Tribeca and Meritor development corridor.
Okay.
And just to clarify for everyone, EOR is the consultant that we, finance decided would be the consultant to review the plan.
Okay, any questions or comments? Okay, all those in favor of this motion say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay, so the motion passes unanimously. We are on to item number 4. This is the collateral assignment of development agreement and tax incremental financing for Graber Review Project.
I'll move approval as recommended by finance and its Graber View project.
I'll second that motion.
Sorry, Robert, I preempted you.
Yes, you did.
Okay, any questions or comments? Okay, all those in favor of the approving the collateral assignment or development agreement and tax incremental financing for Graber View project, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? So the motion passes unanimously. We are on to item number 5. Agreement for tree removal and maintenance with James and Mary Rep, 6912 Schneider Road, Town of Springfield.
Motion to approve as recommended by finance.
Second.
Yeah, Larry, I have a question for you. What is a big change compared to what we approved last time?
Well, the prior agreement came to you without review by Mark Opitz, the staff person who was involved in this, because he was on vacation. And the prior agreement called for a state of affairs that was not reality. In other words, that city contractors were going to go in and trim trees and and remove diseased trees completely. And it turns out that the status of this is that the diseased trees were already removed by the property owner, which helped the airport by taking out, I think, 8 trees that were too tall. They impeded into the grass runway takeoff and landing area. And then they've agreed to trim these other trees using their own contractor. So the airport fund would be paying these costs, and it would be a matter of improving the safety for the turf runway.
Okay, thank you. Any questions or comments on this one? Okay, all those in favor of the motion to approve the agreement for tree removal and maintenance with James and Mary Rep, 6912 Schneider Road, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay, so the motion passes unanimously. So the next one is item number 6. This is the agreement with Middleton Cross Plain Area School District by which the city may consolidate all polling places at Cranberry Middle School.
Motion to approve the agreement with Middleton Cross Plains Area School District.
Second.
Okay, motion by Robert and second by Susan. Any questions or comments? This is to facilitate the shortage of poll workers and to consolidate all polling places at one place.
I would like to thank the school district.
Yes, we want to say thank you to the school district for helping us out.
And I would yes, if I could speak. Yes, I've gotten obviously some concerned emails from constituents saying, why are you pushing us all into one building? And I think it's worth just for 30 seconds explaining that we really don't have enough poll workers. We're asking anyone who can possibly vote with absentee ballot, please do that. We actually don't want you to have to come into a room with other people, but we can't not have an option for people who don't vote by absentee ballot. So we're hoping this will be a very small group of people who show up at the Cromrie Middle School, but it is, call it the backup option to allow people to vote in person. But we would really recommend that people vote with absentee ballot. Thank you.
Robert, I think with the number of ballots that have already been voted absentee, it's going to be a very small number. If Mike's numbers that he reported tonight compared to the 2016 primary.
I think you're right. Yes, and that's good news, but I did want for our viewing audience to kind of explain it a bit.
Right.
Yes,
you
Mike.
Explained it well. I just want to reassure them. There won't be many people there.
Well, in one other aspect of that too, I went and reviewed the space with Lori Burns, and it is huge. I don't know how many of you have been in the Cromrie Gymnasium, but it probably could hold all 4 polling places in it at one time. It's that big. So it gives us the opportunity to have a lot of physical spacing of people in one location. I think it will work really well and will keep people more physically spaced separately than the other 4.
Okay, any questions about this, either to Mike or any comments? I think this seems like a very good option. Okay, if there are no questions or comments, all those in favor of this motion say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Anyone opposed? So the motion passes unanimously. We are on to miscellaneous. Item number 1. Confirmation of essential city services as outlined by the city staff, similar to what Governor Evers has proposed.
Motion to approve this document that was outlined by city staff.
Second.
Any questions or comments? Okay, all those in favor of the motion of confirmation of essential city services as outlined by the city staff say aye.
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 Anyone opposed? So the motion passes unanimously. Item number 2, consideration of purchase of backup generators for city facilities.
I'll make a motion to defer this item until the capital budgeting process in the fall.
Second.
I have a couple of questions.
Yes, Susan.
My big concern is that we always have power for our IT services, and I want to be certain that that's occurring currently, or that without a generator that will occur.
So, Mike, can you answer that?
Well, my understanding, Susan, is that we do have power on the east side of the building, backed up by a generator that's very old on the back of the building. That includes the servers downstairs in the IT room, and it includes my office and most of the public lands department. So there's backup power there. I don't believe we have backup power anywhere else in the building.
So could it be connected to the rest of the building, or is it too small?
It's not a large, it was designed, I believe, it was designed to provide capacity for the police department when it was here at City Hall. And it hasn't been upgraded. It's the same backup generator that was here 10 years ago.
So it could be.
Has it been checked? Has it been checked to be sure it's functional?
It's checked. It is, I think, functional. It has worked in the past.
So potentially it could be upgraded rather than buying a new one.
I'm not really qualified to say.
Okay. Okay. Anyway, so it's the motion is to defer for the capital budget. So, any other questions or comments?
I have a question. If we defer it, But I think we need to look a little bit more into it to be sure our computer services are very secure and have power. If it turns out that they don't, can we bring this back, please? For at least consideration for City Hall.
Sure. Susan, my understanding is that we have redundant power backed up at the police department and that our documents are backed up off-site. So I think we're covered with IT from that standpoint. But I'll check into it.
I just want to be certain. So if we're not, I'd like to have it brought back.
I think that's a good point. So any other questions or comments? Okay, so the motion for the consideration of purchase of backup generators for the city facilities to defer until the capital budget, with other comments that made by the Susan. All those in favor say aye.
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 Anyone opposed? So the motion passes unanimously. Item number 3, recommendation to defer assessment payments for the city's annual sidewalk maintenance program for up to 1 year.
I'll move we defer.
I move approval. Oh, go ahead, Mark.
I'll move that we defer this until the first meeting in July.
As
recommended by finance.
Yeah, I'll second that as recommended by finance.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
Yeah, sure. Go ahead, Katie.
Will the sidewalk repairs actually happen? We're just going to defer how it's going to get paid for until July?
Yes, the thought was that we don't know how long the situation we're in is going to last, and it may be a bit premature to defer this. I don't think anyone was opposed to this, but we thought it would be better to have more information, and we thought that first meeting in July would give us a better indication of what the economic situation was before we make a final decision on this item.
But to be clear, the prior resolutions were passed, are in full force and effect, so there's no legal reason the projects can't proceed as soon as they're ready to go.
Right.
This is only dealing with deferral of the repayment obligation.
Very good. So I have a constituent who is concerned about this, and I just want to make sure I can let them know what the deal is. So that's great.
I would like to make a comment. Yes, I have concerns because of the situation right now. I think we've got a lot of people that are concerned about how they're even going to be paying the rent in the next month, much less knowing that there's this additional obligation. And the sidewalk repairs can be rather inexpensive, or depending on how much sidewalk they have to replace, can be, I know, well over $1,000 easily. I really would like it for the city to assure our residents that we're not going to be asking them to pay for something quite as soon. I'm in favor of actually recommending deferring the assessment payments and going ahead and doing it now.
So I'm not sure if you were listening to the finance discussion.
I did listen to the finance department.
So the reality is that the billings for these won't occur until October or November, right? And
yes,
they're not paid at that time period. That's when they go on the tax bills. So there's plenty of time for us to assess whether what we're going through is going to be a short-term event or a long-term event, which is why we're thinking that if we could defer this until July, then we would have a better understanding of what the economics of this thing look like and whether or not there was hopefully a recovery and that it would be not necessary. So that's the rationale for deferring it. I don't think anybody was opposed in general for possibly doing this, but that it was just too early to make that decision.
I understand what you discussed and said. I just want to reassure residents that we will not be. I've got concerns, and this is coming from my knowledge of infectious diseases. I am hopeful this will be over soon. I am not confident it will be unless every single one of us truly does the physical distancing that is needed. And I'm talking about the entire country, not just Middleton. And I am very worried about the people that have lost their jobs, and it's a significant number. And I think it would be really reassuring that for this minor thing, the council could say, we're behind you, we will try to help you.
So are you amending that motion or?
No.
Okay, any further discussion?
This is Emily.
Okay.
I think both people make valid points. You know, the whole country is worried about COVID-19. But what Mark was saying about the budget and waiting to take a look to decide if it's a short-term and severe economic impact or if it's going to become a longer-term thing is reasonable. I think in July we'll have good numbers and at least can make a better plan. I think right now we should. I'm listening to what Mark said on this one.
And sorry, this is Robert. It's
Robert.
hard to all raise our hands here. I think to Susan's point, I think we can state right here, we do have our citizens back on this, and we're going to do what's right to not let anybody be in the lurch on this topic. We're just getting back to what Mark said. In 2 or 3 months, we're going to know a lot more that will help us make the call on this. But I think we can state for the record that this is, we're not going to leave people in the lurch on this situation when it comes time for sidewalks.
So do you think it's fair for me to respond to my constituent and just say, look, we have your back. We just have to wait a little bit to get the official vote? Or am I leading someone down the primrose path?
I'll again speak. I think that's a fair statement, that this is, from a voting standpoint, this is not the right time to make the decision as we're still gathering data. But from like individuals' positions and their concerns, we hear their concerns, and we will do what we need to do to make sure that this is not a hardship for people.
I like that.
Okay.
That's what we can do.
Any way we can make that public in terms of the minutes or a statement to go along with why we're deferring it? Otherwise,
could you, Bill, add that to the minutes, please? This part of the discussion. So.
Yes, I can include that comment in the minutes.
Okay. Okay. Any further discussion? The motion is for the recommendation to defer assessment payments for the city's annual sidewalk maintenance program for up to 1 year is to defer it until July meeting. July 7th meeting. All those in favor of this motion say aye.
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 Anyone opposed? So the motion passed unanimously. We are to item number 4. This is about the Mori Airplane Company's request for consideration of land lease rent waiver or deferral due to the pandemic coronavirus.
I'll move that we that we defer up to 3 months of rent as recommended by finance.
I'll second that motion.
Any questions or comments?
Mark, if I could clarify, is the motion to defer or to waive?
No, to waive.
Okay. I just wanted to clarify because you said to defer before.
I'm sorry. Let me reiterate. The motion was to waive up to 3 months as recommended by finance.
It's to waive 3 months rent for the Maury Airplane Company for the land lease. So I have a question for you, Bill. Now that money goes to the airport fund or that comes to the city?
It goes to the airport fund.
Okay. Okay, so the motion is to approve the Maury Airplane Company's request for consideration of land lease rent waiver for 3 months.
Up to 3 months.
Up to 3 months.
Up to 3 months.
Okay, up to 3 months. All those in favor of this motion say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Anyone opposed? So the motion passes unanimously. We are on to item number 5, revised timeline for the 2020 general capital borrowing.
And I'll move that we accept the revised timeline as recommended by finance, which was to defer this borrowing for this year to, I believe, was beginning of June.
I'll second.
Okay, any questions or comments? Okay,
it was middle of June, wasn't it, Mark? Wasn't it the 16th of June?
It would be the second meeting in June, correct?
16th.
Yeah.
Okay, so the motion is to approve the revised timeline for the 2020 general capital borrowing, which is the middle of June. And all those in favor of this motion say aye.
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 Anyone opposed? So the motion passes unanimously. Item number 6, preliminary review of 2019 general fund revenues, expenditures, and fund balances.
And I'll move that we defer this until the last meeting in April, as recommended by finance.
Okay.
Second.
Okay, any questions or comments? So the motion to defer the preliminary review of 2019 general fund revenues and expenditures and fund balances up to second meeting in April. All those in favor of the motion say aye.
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 Anyone opposed? So the motion passes unanimously. Item number 7, cancellation of the common council meeting scheduled for April 7th, 2020.
I'll make the motion to cancel that meeting.
I'll second that.
Any questions or comments? Since we already are having this meeting, so we don't need that one. All those in favor of this motion say aye.
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 Anyone opposed? So the motion passes unanimously. We are on to resolutions. Resolution number 1 is the resolution number 2020-19, granting a release of public water main and public sewer easements. This is about Tribeca Drive extension agreement.
Right.
I'll move approval.
Second.
Larry, do you want to say anything, or anyone else has a questions or comments?
This is routine. It comes about due to the change of layout that has taken place since the original Tribeca development was approved.
Okay. Any questions for Larry? So the motion is the resolution number 2020-19, granting release of public water main and public sewer easements. All those in favor say aye.
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 Mr. Mayor, can we take both number 2 and 3 at the same time, since they
Okay.
refer to the same
Well,
topic?
anyone opposed? Okay, so then motion passes unanimously. We are taking item number 2 and 3 together. Item number 2 is the resolution number 2020-20 to amend resolution 2020-16 final resolution authorizing improvements and levying special assessment against benefited John Quill Court and Hunters Court properties in the city of Middleton. And the item number 3 is resolution number 2020-21 to amend resolution 2020-14 final resolution authorizing improvements and levying special assessment against benefited Parkside Heights properties. So we are taking these two motions together. So need a
And I'll
motion.
move that we defer both of these until the first meeting in July.
Second.
Okay.
Can we add
Okay,
the
any
same
que-
statement as we do in the minutes for the sidewalks?
Sure.
Okay. Okay, any questions or comments? Okay, all those in favor of this approving the motion for these two resolutions say aye.
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 Anyone opposed? So the motion passes unanimously. Is there anything else?
So, Mr. Mayor, I do have one more comment, unfortunately or fortunately. Bill, I know it's not on the agenda. I'm wondering if I can reclaim my time for public comment concerning the the emergency expenditures for the city's response to the coronavirus pandemic. We have spent, actually, in the prior meeting, council members had granted me an approval process to just kind of give another eye to the city's planned expenditures. Just wanted to report that the city has spent about $11,000 on computers and computer-related equipment since that time. And Bill, if you had any other comments on that, whether anything else is pending. But just wanted to let the council know that was how much has been spent so far to date.
Thank you, Mark. Well, do you have something to add?
Nothing else that's pending at this point, and I just wanted to add that those funds that have been authorized are coming from the city's general contingency, which was budgeted at $100,000. So there's approximately $90,000 left in the general contingency. Nothing has been authorized from the emergency contingency at this point.
Okay, any questions for Bill? Any other comments? Okay, need a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
So moved.
Need a second. Okay, all those in favor of the motion to adjourn say aye.
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 Okay, anyone opposed? So we are adjourned. Well, thank you.
Yeah.